That's a big one. You do
Somebody here,
if you don't know.
Please, God.
Math teacher, yeah. Knowledge is awareness of the truth. You have to say how
Oh my goodness.
the more knowledge you get, the more things you're capable of accomplishing. Because you know more now, so now you can do more.
Does anybody have any questions about anything? It doesn't have to be with the train of thought I was on.
You're gonna give me homework?
I never knew that soap had pork in it. You really taught me something.
You never knew what?
I never knew that soap had pork in it. And so you really taught me something.
Yeah.
So now,
By the way, anything that is anything that's chewy but isn't gum, read it. Okay? Anything that's yellow that you know is not a natural yellow, read it. Okay? You know? But dyes are usually from animals or bugs. So you don't want to eat that. You know what I'm saying? What you want to do is get rid of processed foods and things like that. I give a whole health protocol. Okay? I don't expect people to follow it completely, but I also don't expect acolytes though. You know what I mean? And little Sunez is everywhere. You know what I mean? That would be kind of cool though, but you know. When we're dealing with diet, fast forward diet, you get rid of the pork. But what you're really doing though is being aware of how food feels when it's in you. You understand? You have to feel how it feels when it's in you. You want to do stuff, you need energy. You eat food, but then you get sleepy. What's the effects of this food here? You know what I mean? When you eat food though, whatever came out of the box though, I need you to read the box. Okay? You need to read the back of the box. So when you read stuff, I want you to know everything. Like when you get a plate, I want you to know what everything is. Not identify the name, but if you say, look, I know it's this is rice and that's that. Well, what is it though? Why are you eating the rice? Why are you eating this? What part is that? If you're like, I don't give a shit what Sunez says, I'm eating all of this shit. Well, at least identify what everything is in there.
that's the savage mentality.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff that comes here is genetic. It's like genetically modified.
Genetically modified organisms. That's right.
It's funny how you're talking today about the box, read the box. And maybe like 2 months ago, I did pick up a box. I've been eating ranzoni and barilla pasta my whole life. I think out of habit. If that's what they bought, so that's what I bought.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I was waiting for someone to get out of my way. So I was, patiently reading the box, because they're looking for their pasta. And I was not in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized they had something like enriched vitamins. They had like vitamin B and vitamin. I was like, what? And I just happened to be next to the bag section because it's all the boxes and then all the bags. And I picked up a bag, and the bag was the only thing that had just wheat.
Mm-hmm.
And I never bought box pasta again.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Pasta is made from a durum wheat flour, right? When it's enriched, what that means is that the flour is taking away all of the germ, right? That's how you make flour. But when it's enriched, though, it's extreme and it's taking away all the nutrients. That's what happens. Why? Why is it? Not only because it's great for use, flour is very malleable, can be used for anything, but also because it could be stored. Why can it be stored, and why don't animals and things go eat it then? Because it's flour. It doesn't have any nutrients, so animals aren't going to eat it. You will.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And when you eat pasta and stuff, that's why people get sleepy, because they're mostly getting the gluten. The processed gluten version of that protein, you know what I mean? Which is the wheat,
losing weight.
right? Gluten is the protein of the wheat, right? But when it's processed, so it makes you sleepy. It's hard to absorb. Doesn't mean that you have a wheat allergy per se, right? But it means that in that processed form, it's not going to be the best for you. So that's what I mean. We have our meals, though. We fall asleep. You know what I mean? Are we getting energy? You know what I mean? Right? You have to study all of this. Right?
Everything plant-based is basically good for us. not all plants.
Right.
I mean,
Be careful with the word plant-based though,
Peace, God.
because
Right.
an Impossible Burger is plant-based, and I don't know what plant is in that shit.
Impossible Burger? I never heard of that.
Right? That's a vegan. What's one of the many vegan options when people get vegan burgers? I'll tell you something. When you get fake meats, right? Fake meats I'll just tell you one ingredient. Fake meats, you eat fake burger and stuff and be like, oh, this has 25 grams of protein. It's like, wow, one piece of burger gives you, that's ridiculous, right? I'm going to be muscular. Whoa, you know what I mean? And you look though, it's not really absorbable by the body. But when you eat it though, it also has another ingredient usually in it though called methylcellulose, right? Methylcellulose is more commonly known as a laxative. Right? So they know that your body won't absorb all of it, but it'll sure get rid of it pretty quickly though. So at least it won't stay in there too long. You know what I mean?
So when you go to the bodega, a Sausalito turkey, that's really not, because I did research behind that. That's really not a real turkey. Because when you go to certain delis and stuff, like they don't really search or check meat when they serve to the people. It'd be a lot of clone meat and stuff like that.
All right, let me tell you where I'm coming from with this, right?
Because a lot of the stuff that we eat, it has no seeds in it, no seeds in the fruits or vegetables.
Right.
So
right.
most of the time, not most of the time, sometimes you don't be seeing the bones.
When you see, it's not twofold. When you see like seedless something though, that has to do, and it sounds, the gods always bulk because it's really grafted. But it's not grafted in this grafted devil way. The language is different. You know what I mean? Plants are spliced and worked. That's how we get crops. I'm not talking about GMO. I'm not talking about things they do now. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of years ago. Okay? So every single fruit, vegetable that we have, most of them are made by nature, but also man planting things and planting things in different ways. Merging crops, splicing crops. I'm not talking about machinery. I'm talking about thousands of years ago. Okay? So that's one thing to take note of, right? I'd rather have somebody eat seedless grapes though than eat a processed sausage. You get what I'm saying? Right? There's always going to be an excuse not to eat anything good, right? So what you do is you eat the best you can in a situation, right? And for that though, you got to know what is best for you. What are you looking for with protein? What are you looking for with energy? What are you looking for with your greens? All these kind of things are the balance that you're looking for. What are your protein sources? That's going to be good. So you're looking into these things, right? That's what you're looking for.
I have one last question.
Please.
God, I'm sorry, Peace. But what if you have health issues, as in like heart problems, or you have trouble breathing, or how do I say this in the right way? If you're going through health issues, how do you fast still?
That's a good
How do
question.
you fast? Because I'm fast. I'm doing a 3-day fast. I just spoke to the Honorable Darkin and stuff. I speak to him tomorrow and stuff.
That's so nice of you. I never heard anybody call him the Honorable.
Yeah.
So elegant.
I'm still new and stuff. Because the real reason why I came here, because I feel lost and I don't really have the knowledge of myself and God like that. Because I want to, stand in the cypher with other older guys and actually stand in my square and know what I'm. But action speaks louder than words. But you have to come here and show your work and show and prove, And also you gotta, like you said, this is for you. This is for yourself,
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, what is the particular health thing that you're saying?
It's like an internal thing. There's like inflammation and stuff, inflammation in the chest, stomach area, and stuff. And
in this case,
blood pressure.
Okay, in this case, the fast will do you good. It might be difficult, but it will do you good. What I would say is this though, right? We gotta look at our whole diet though, and probably some of the foods you're eating have to be eliminated, right? I would guess what they are, but I don't want to guess right. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you can guess. We gonna go mature.
But At the same time, you probably need more probiotics in your body. You have to fix the microbiome. You know what I mean? You have to fix that whole microbiome. You know what I mean? Right? And a lot of people don't want to do it that way. They think it's all bougie and stuff like that because that's what, don't associate health drinks and health items with white folk. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've been vegan since 1996. I've been going to health food stores and seeing wasted, grafted folk looking horrible in health food stores, drinking and eating these things and shit like that, right? And before it was popular, I've been drinking kombucha since 1997. You know what I mean? Before it was a thing, when you used to buy them and they used to blow up the minute you opened them up. Because it's a fermented drink, though. It's very volatile. They had to fix it a while. But I had explode. This very classroom has a history of kombucha spills all over it. A history of spills. You know what I mean? But I was drinking these things when nobody knew about it, though. When you go, I'm tell you something. When you go to I forgot the name of it. When you go to what the hell is the name of that? There's a vegan restaurant here.
Uptown Bay.
Uptown, right? Yeah. When you go there, you get shots of baji. You can ask for shots of baji chew, though, the Chinese tonic. Who do you think introduced them to that tonic? It was us guys when we was training martial arts. We brought that tonic uptown here. You know what I mean? Rastas, nobody, they didn't know about that. We're the ones that brought that up here. You know what I mean? Right? Because that was something we were using to circulate our chi. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, that's also fermented.
So why do they drink tree bark and stuff like that?
I don't know about the tree bark. I know that baji chew is not tree bark, right? But it has a lot of roots and herbs in it, you know? But what I'm saying is this, though, is that the point of the fast, though, is to show your discipline immediately. But the point of the fast continue on. Right. But the point of the fast as we go along, though, has to be for your own health. Okay? So I go to extremes, so I'll show you the extremes. I remember Firstborn Prince telling me you have to fast for 7 years to get the pork out of your body. You know? Now, I had already stopped eating pig about 93, and I got knowledge in 99. But I felt like I didn't know any of this, so I have to fast. And I was teaching, and I was fast. I would do 3 36-hour fasts every week for a whole year. So I picked 36 hours. 36, it was ridiculous. It was crazy.
You said 3 per week?
3 36 hours every week. And so I was hungry. I was hungry. I was doing training. It
was 24 hours in a day. So 20.
Right.
Like
because the thing was, if I did 24 hours, though, then I would wake up and run to the fridge. So I was at, 12 o'clock the next day. That's 36 hours. 36 hours. So that way, just like say, I detox the pig out of me. You know what I mean?
That's really impressive. That actually.
Now,
I'm guessing it makes you like real resilient and really
It does though. But what I learned from it though is that it also has to be for your health as well. And the quality and knowing what you eat though is also what makes you stronger. You know what I mean? Now, I'm bigger than I was then, right? But I'm faster than I was then because I learned how to use my diet, right? And every day I do intermittent fasting every day, right? So that means I'm fasted for 18 hours, then I eat, then fast for another 18 hours. So when I train in the early morning, I train fasted, right? That means everything, lifting weight, everything. Everything is fasted. And if you know how to do it, you're not like, I'm hungry, like that doesn't happen like that, right? But during the end of the week, though, I also do a 40-plus hour fast. You know what I mean? I do that too, right? And that's just to clean out the system. You see? Now, those days, and those times, days when I eat, though, I eat a lot, though. I eat a lot. Those online know this wonderful, angelic, lovely music is my little girl calling me. So, give me a moment. Peace.
Hi, Bobby.
Hey, peace, Oogie. You know that you're calling me in the class. Everybody's hearing you again.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday. It's Thursday.
Hey, Bobby, can I tell you something?
You can tell me one thing.
Hey, I'm going to teach the game that I showed you on Monday.
Oh, in class, right? Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got going now, Bobby. Bye.
All right, bye, Emma. I love you.
Me too, bye.
Okay. I think she does it on purpose, though. Now she calls me every Thursday. All right. But peace to the earth, harmony, equality. Program for society. You look familiar. I'm not sure. By the way, she's on my solo album. I put her on the intro. So that's totally cute. Then I mess it up because my voice is all like angry.
Before this class is over, I'm gonna be back here tomorrow and the whole week as well. But
That's peace.
I'm still learning the basic formats to this day. Like I need to like be fully equipped. Like
I'm gonna give you I'm gonna tell you what it is, so that way you know it overtly. Like what is it that we do? Okay, so that way you know. Okay, because you coming every day in the classroom, you're only gonna see me Thursday. Okay, right? Dark Kim is here almost. He's here at least Mondays and Tuesdays. He'd be here like clockwork. You know what I mean? And he'd be here on Thursday too. So like if I'm not here, he's gonna be here too. But where was I with that? I was talking about diet. You need probiotics though. I said kombucha, guys. It's a famous probiotic. It's actually a fermented black tea, and they have a special culture that they call a SCOBY. I forget what SCOBY stands for. It's an acronym. It stands for something. Each letter SCOBY, and then it's mixed with a fruit juice, not fruit drink, not grape drink like Chappelle says. You know what I mean? Real fruit juice, like pure fruit juice. It can't be like Tropicana because that's pasteurized, not that shit. You know what I mean? That's also a thing to learn too. Little things when labeling. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn labeling. 100% juice is not juice if it's pasteurized. Pasteurized means that they heat flashed it and killed all the germs. That's great. You won't die of a germ, but you're also not going to get any of the living enzymes that are in it. That's why orange juice is thick. Tropicana juice is thick compared to freshly squeezed orange juice. That's the difference. It turns into a sugar.
So it's better to stop drinking Tropicana.
Freshly squeezed. What I'm saying is, when you drink out Tropicana juice, don't think you're not just drinking juicy juice. You know, like you're having kids' juice. You know, don't get fooled by the labels. If something is pasteurized, that means they have flash heated it at extremely high heat. It kills all the germs, but it also kills all the living nutrients in it too. So you're basically drinking sugar. Okay? So don't get fooled by that though. Be like, I'm drinking this. I don't feel like I'm getting, you know what I mean? And you're wondering why, you know? So just be very careful. Okay?
You were saying you were going to give them protocols about diet.
Oh yeah,
I have a whole
protocol. The book, yeah.
Right. I have a
basic format.
Okay, I have a whole protocol about health, a protocol that you could use and do parts of it as you go along. All I'm going to say now is the mentality of the diet starts with knowing how food feels when you eat it. Okay? If you just finish eating and all you feel is that it's full, that's not good enough. That is not an assertion. That is not a good judgment. If you're just eating until you're full, okay? That isn't
hurting yourself.
Right, but that's also doesn't tell you like, was this food good for me? Was it bad for me? All of these things, okay? Right? And simple things. You know that if it comes out of the box, it's not going to be as healthy, right? You know if it's a treat, then it's a treat. It ain't for regular consumption, right? And also take your mind out of the mindset. Take your mind out of the place where you know something is good, but you're not strong enough to not eat that. In other words, I gotta have at least one treat. Who says that? Who says that? Right? I'm gonna tell you something now.
Redefine what I call a treat.
What?
I could redefine what I call a treat.
Right. Exactly.
Like treat is for pets, like cats and dogs. You know,
like we eat out of the same boxes just like a dog would. If we're eating boxes of cookies, right? Bags of potato chips and stuff like that. It's the same thing. You know, it's all processed foods. It's all foods that don't really have a great living energy. You know what I mean? You're eating foods that your exercise will have to overcome as opposed to use. So brother will be, I know brothers will be like, yeah, but you know what, Sunya is like, I ate a whole bunch of, I ate some cake, but I'm gonna work it out. See, I'm not at that. So when I go work out, I don't have to worry about overcoming the food I ate, and I'm worried about doing something else. I'm at another level. So I can try some crazy shit because I'm already on another level. And he said, listen, that's too extreme. You walked into a building, you walked into a building that teaches that there's no mysterious God, being, energy, or force that controls your reality, but you. So, unfortunately, you've already steeped into the extreme. You see? So anything else I'm teaching to you is matching the extreme, not delving you to another extreme. Okay? And thankfully, and I'll say this I'll try to say as egoless as possible. You walked into a classroom where the teacher actually lives out the teachings that he is teaching. I don't tell you to train, and I'm not training. I don't tell you to read, and I'm not reading. Everything I'm telling you is stuff that I do. Okay? We're creators. We have to try creating things. You know what I mean? So whereas writing, instead of looking at things like writing is like, oh, it's a boring assignment. So look at it as like creating your world. Because when you write in your journal, that I tell everyone to have their own journal that I do not want to read, you are writing about what you did, but then you start to write about what you want to do and what you hope to do. And then it starts to become, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. You see? And now you're writing your actual life.
They start becoming the long-term
That's
goals.
Right. We don't do this enough. We don't do it enough. And you can do it with anything. And you have to be comfortable with failure. You have to be comfortable with saying, listen, Sunez said it though, this weekend I'm not having a treat. Monday, didn't work out so good. I had some on Sunday. You know what I mean? I was supposed to read and I watch more football. Right? It's good. Embrace the failure. Do not forget your failure. Okay? Do not forget your failure. Okay? Because when you actually succeed, I want you to remember all of the failure as well. And feel the win better. You know what I mean? You feel it better.
It's like you fail 50 times, you get back up and try that 51st time.
Right. Yeah. Let's say if you was training, do one punch like this. You did a whole bunch of punches. You did all types of punches and shit like that. And you can never do that punch right. One day you get the punch right and it works the right way. It snaps the right way, right? But you did all this other stuff to get that punch right, all this other workout. Then you realize, wow, I'm like physically different. Because you didn't even realize that all the other stuff changed you as well. See? So you have to be steeped. You have to be aware when you're in the wrong. You have to be aware when you're in the wrong. See? It's very important. You have to remember what it is now. If we said now would be the state of being out of being an 85%, right? I said 85% is this thing. At 85, right? Meaning you were blind, deaf, and dumb, right? And now you got the knowledge. You have to remember what it was like when you was an 85. When you was 85% of the population. Right. Not just a savage, but you just didn't know. Right? You just didn't know. So be aware, very aware of this stuff. Because if this is forgotten, you become a 5%er with just ego. And that is a gross sight. It's disgusting. The world doesn't need more people that know things and act like assholes. Because we're trying to be teachers, though. We're trying to share. And that won't work, though, if you forget what it was when you didn't know. If you don't know what it was when you didn't know, then you won't know the feeling and how to get into that feeling. You must always get into the feeling of not knowing. You see? Because they never forgot what to learn. Remember I said that's bathing yourself with belief. You become dirty. Imagine being a 5%er, but you're dirty. Dirty 5%. You're not clean.
At that point, you fall from it?
Jiddu Krishnamurti. It's my favorite philosopher, right? I have a lot of favorites. Confucius, right? Jiddu Krishnamurti used to say in his books, the way we use the word knowledge, he uses the word information. And the way we use information, he uses the word knowledge. In other words, knowledge and information are the same. Information is facts and figures that could be manipulated, right? Like a statistic. You get a crime statistic, but then, the police, they want the crime statistic to look good. Certain things are not a crime anymore, right? And now it was a fact that you could quote the statistic, right? It's a real statistic, but it's not knowledge. It's just information. And it's not correct.
So what is the difference between statistics and ballistics?
Ballistics are a particular type of statistics about guns and bullets, right? So it's particular, right? So that's a particular type of statistic. So this idea, Jiddu Krishnamurti, and I use it in the way that we use the words, not the way he wrote them, just in case you read his books, which you should. He said that when you learn something that is true, and then you never test it again to see if it's true, you accept it as fact and never test it again. Like it's a fact. I believe it now. Then he said it's become a belief, and it's no longer valid. It's no longer useful. See, to believe is not to know something, right? And the things that we know are something that's living and growing, right? The black woman is the earth. Meaning that if we said that knowledge is the fact, the truth, then the black woman in many respects is like the cipher, that which wills everything to continue. You see? Like the binary code is just 1 and 0s, 1 and 0, right? The relationship is very similar. Creator, creation. We have the nature of creation. We instigate. But the black woman has the nature of creation that allows all creation to continue. Right?
She is the light that was sustained.
Right. Question. So with that said, right? When we look at things like this, right? And we take into account ideas like that, right? When we go through this knowledge of self and we say that we are this, we are that, we are never just accepting it as it's true. Every day we're trying to figure out, is this true? We're challenging it positively. I know it's true. Let me see what else. But also negatively. I don't mean positive and negative is good or bad. I mean in framework, the way we attack. In other words, I'm trying to prove it's wrong today. I'm trying to see what positively, I'm trying to prove how it's true today. You see? But you always have to be testing it. This is not true just because we said it was true. Just like I may say things that put it in perspective and you say, that is it. This is it. But it isn't true until you test it yourself. That's why there's one fact in this classroom I've been saying for years. Everything I say in this classroom is 100% true. This is my evangelical moment. Everything I say in this classroom is true. Okay? I'm proselytizing here. Everything I say is true. You need not worry. You need not worry. Okay? Hand of God. But it's only true for me. It's only 100% true, actual facts for me. All of you will have to show and prove it for yourselves. Go through the literature. Open the literature I spoke about. Ask for the literature. Go through the references. Test it out. See the logic in it. See? Then it's true. Because that's when you have your own unique understanding. Right? Quick look into mathematics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, right? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. A mental reality, right? Knowledge is the actual fact, the truth. In the reality of creating, it is that original idea that you have. Then you use it. Wisdom. You apply it. Testing it. You're seeing how it works. You are living with it, experiencing it. Then you come to an understanding, what I call a revelation of purpose. Its purpose has been revealed. The purpose is in your way of life. And now that 1, 2, 3, knowledge, wisdom, understanding is now being expressed outwardly. And now your understanding is being expressed as your culture. And now what? Outside. 4 is culture, your way of life. Your way of life is based on your understanding being lived out. It says cultural freedom. Freedom is a supplementary word in there, right? So it's always culture, but know that the freedom is there to give insight. Culture freedom, meaning that the culture leads to the true freedom. Your understanding lived out as a culture leads to a true freedom that leads to what? 5, power. Power is an influence, what I call a propulsive influence. It moves. In other words, when you live your understanding out, it's your culture and you cannot take it back. You see? You cannot take it back. Made a song. I can't take it back. It's out there already. Right? I wrote the book. It's already out there. It's too late. Right? It's out there. The way I've lived out the culture, it's already out there. That's the power it has. The way it extends. Refinement was added. Not everyone has it though. Okay? As we go along and give you history of this. Refinement though doesn't mean a culturing or a changing of the power. It is a supplemental word. Refinement in this case means a focus of the power. In other words, our culture is distinct. It is particular to our understanding. And so it has a target. It isn't raw power just being expressed. Right? It is a focused reality. It is refined as far as focus. Okay? As that power extends, though, it leads to what? Inequality. Everything is in a different position, a proper position. Right? A newfound balance. This reality that we have extended, that we have lived out powerfully. This is the outer. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding is the inner. Culture, power, equality is the outer. And now it reads 7, 8, 9. The fruit of it all. No one is God again. No one is earth again and again. But you have realized the supremacy within you. So what I call it a what? A reaffirmation, a rejuvenation. That everything we do, everything we live out leads to that equality that puts us in a place of reaffirming our reality as God, as earth. Right? It is rejuvenating. So the 7, 8, 9 is the fruit. The fruit of it is that now we are able to what? Change the reality around us. We're able to build or destroy. We're destroying what once was because we are building something anew. You see? And so we are changing the reality around us, a universal change. And that leads to what? An elevated fulfillment, born. It is complete. That original idea, that truth, that actual fact has been realized. It is born. You see? And it leads to what? Knowledge, add on a cipher. 10. It is the cipher of infinity, the reality of infinity that allows knowledge to add on a cipher. And we do it all over again. This is the reality of supreme mathematics as it relates to the universe, creation itself. And we are what? We are creators inside our own creation. We create all this. And when we interact with it, it changes. We ever created, for it is created by us, though. There's an old text, the Kabbalion. It was written by the Greeks, but it is Greeks writing what the ancient Egyptians taught, right? So the Greeks wrote it, the 3 initiates, but it is from the ancient Kemet, right? And it has these laws. And the first one is the all is the mind and the mind is the all. See? Everything in the universe, this is what it's saying. Everything in the universe is affected by thought and can only be created by thought. The mind is the all, and the all is the mind. We didn't make this shit up. Countless people have said it over there. The Tao Te Ching, particularly the John C.H. Wu translation, says it 3 times in 3 different aphorisms. Out of the 81 aphorisms are sayings of beautiful understanding. Right? That's what makes them fun. Right? It's boring to just write things that are true and then not write them beautifully. 3 of them say, lead to this conclusion. 3 of them says, how do I know what is it that this universe is made of? Other questions. How do I know all of this to be so that exists? The answer given is by what is within me. That's the answer. The Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching translates to the way in its power. In the mathematics, that's 25. Right? 25. Wisdom, power, born God. 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. Just like it. The links don't mean that it's true. The links mean that the ideas mix, match, and they are still true. It is not true because 2 plus 5 equals 7. It is true because the principles of 2 plus 5 become 7. It's not the New York Times, all the news that fits the print. So I went through Supreme Mathematics. It doesn't mean that you memorized it. I just wanted to introduce you to it and its reality as far as how we deal with it. Okay? If you understand Supreme Mathematics, I don't rush people through that. You go along at your own pace. In fact, everybody goes along with this. Unless my student is very young, even younger than Wise here. Unless they are very young, no. I do not prod them. If they're young, then I'm like, yo, man, like I bother them if they're 15, 16, right? You're older. I'm not gonna bother you. You go at your own pace. Okay? Right? But if it becomes realized though, your pace is horrible though, I will tell you how it is not a befitting pace. I'll use the word befitting though. I use distinct language though to make you feel ostracized from yourself. No, but I'm just kidding. No, but I'll tell you that you can do that. You know, I'm not gonna do this. I mean, we 5%ers, we just don't do that. No, I don't do that. Because I did that. That'd be crazy.
Everybody should each one teach one, you know, because I know myself, I'm just speaking for myself specifically, because if I have something, I do be timid or nervous, because I don't want to stand on stage and be on the microphone and start saying the speech, and you see how I'm talking to you, and you see how I'm cutting off a little bit, like,
Right.
as I'm
Right.
trying to.
However, I will say this though. I don't really care about what you think you are, Justin.
No, it's not that.
No. Listen what I'm saying.
So,
I don't care about what you think you are. And more importantly though, you should absolutely not care about who you think you are. Okay?
always have confidence.
We are shedding all of the cliches and stereotypes and judgments and considerations that we say of ourselves, you know? So when I get young brothers that are very volatile, and it's like, yo, I'm this type of nigga, man, I be doing this shit. I don't care what type you think you are. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you what type, right? What you're not seeing though is that you don't know what type of person you are. You're only judging yourself about what you've done now. Okay? When you want to become something, you can be that. You just have to study hard and care about it. That's it. That's all you need for this. Is to care about that. And when you know enough, you will build enough though. Okay? All these things. We start talking about like speaking, right? Speaking in front of a classroom, lecturing in front of a hall, lecturing in an auditorium with hundreds of people, being on a radio, you know, radio dial, like FM, people are hearing, no dead air. Can't leave dead air, right? You have to keep talking. I don't know what to say. Shit like that, right? Everything, right? Performances, things like that, right? All of this comes if you desire to express yourself in this manner and you feel that it is worthwhile, then you will do it. Then you will do it. To be able to teach here isn't something I said when I was coming in. I was telling the guy, I think the guy was telling me, I had said it to you. But now it's me said I would teach it. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I don't know anything. How am I supposed? Why does he even think that? Because I had a respectable clarity in the way I explain things. Because I was able to find the way to talk to a person. And how quickly you can do that. Find a way to talk to a person. The way that most aligns with them. Right? And then, see, I'll give you one thing, right? 5% of teach on the street, mainly. To teach on the street, though, you attract the people that learn from you best. So your particular style, you attract those who go with that style. When you teach in a classroom where people are voluntarily coming in, they do not know the way I teach. So now I have to teach according to the way that they can learn best, though. So I actually have to adapt, and they are not just adapting or likening themselves to the way I teach. You see? It's different. What I'm saying is like, what is the difference between one person not being able to speak at certain forms and another person being able to do it? It's understanding. Everything is understanding. Okay? What makes a writer write is not that he could say something different, it's that he has something to say. If you have an understanding, then now you're halfway there. You just have to find the form, the place that you will share that understanding. The understanding is a unique insight to the knowledge that you have that has been what? Used. Wisdom. Right? That takes work. As a newborn, getting this knowledge, what you say to yourself is, I don't have enough understanding. How could there be anything for me to share? How could I be prepared to share anything? So the gaps in language, right? The gaps in speech, right? This has more to do with the lack and the ever developing molding understanding that is taking place, right? When it firms up, then you'll firm up, right? And you will figure out where you intend to build. And I'm only saying this because I've seen hundreds of people that don't build, don't want to speak, shy, and they become builders. I've also seen many people that don't want to, and so they don't learn. Imagine not learning something you think is true because you're afraid to express your insights about it. But these things happen.
Because these are those type of people that's afraid because they might think of what other people might think of them.
Sure.
Or they
Absolutely.
like, oh,
Absolutely.
Assuming, oh, he's not. No,
Right.
I think
Right.
He's ignorant.
The mistake that they make, though, is that the classroom is a place of experimentation. Things are supposed to blow up in your face here.
Can't judge nobody.
Right? Things are supposed to blow up in your face. I'm supposed to build. When I was with my eldest and I build, I was quiet to learn the most I could. But when I built, I didn't worry about being wrong. I wanted to, if I was wrong, I was hoping that they would catch it. That way it blows up in my face. Whatever concoction I'm making blows up in my face, and it blows up safely in this laboratory, this classroom laboratory. Because who knows? What if I said it outside and I said some dumb shit? Things that are wrong. Things that are not useful. Right? So these things, we're all becoming. You're only 25. You have no idea what you will be. Right? The possibilities are endless. You know what I mean? Possibilities are endless. Right? Does anybody have any questions? Let me see if there's any questions here.
I was even seeing today's mathematics.
That's what you're supposed to answer, not me.
Oh, today's mathematics is born. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Tomorrow, today is the 8th.
Nope.
No, today's the 9th.
So it is.
Born.
What does born mean to you?
Born is, what does born mean to me? For what you just said, everything. Equality, knowledge, wisdom. All that.
You just got that look recently.
No, I've had it in my house for about a year.
Knowledge, wisdom, understanding,
Oh, you seen it in person.
Oh,
power, fire, equality, build, destroy, born, self. Born means to me everything, premeditated or something like that, or no?
Not necessarily premeditated. It means what you have been doing is complete, right? It means that something of a grandness has been completed, right? So when we build on today's math. That's what we do. Like that's one of the exercises, right? It's a powerful exercise, right? And when we build on today's mathematics, we take the day of the calendar and we say today's mathematics is whatever day it is. Today's the 9th, right? And we say it's born. The reason we do it is because we don't live the day and say everything has to be done in the theme of born. Okay? No, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is focusing on that principle. Even though all of the principles of supreme mathematics are engaged, we're focusing on that principle. And I also add on that we're adding on, because we live out this history, we're also looking at it as a process. So we're planning our reality too. That what we're doing though is in these monthly blocks that we're judging, that we're planning and plotting. And the whole world is subject to this calendar, so we use this calendar that the whole world is mathematically subject to. You see? And we focus on that principle. When the days are double digits, we born them, right? So if it's the knowledge add on the cipher day, that would just be 1 plus 0. 1 plus 0 is 1, right? It does not mean that 1 plus 10 equals 1. What it means, though, is that we are showing and doing the exercise that the principles can be combined.
But what if it's the 11th of this month?
Knowledge, all being born to wisdom. 1 equals 2. And we're finding the connections between knowledge. The knowledge of 1 and the knowledge of 2 is also a way to be.
What if it's the 31st of the month?
That is understanding knowledge. All being born to culture. you haven't memorized.
Everything at the end of the day always revolves more to culture. No, to 0 after 9.
No.
I had it. I couldn't.
Peace, God.
Right. Peace.
When we're dealing with the mathematics, though, we're dealing with all the mathematics and how we see these principles. Okay? Today's mathematics is an exercise. Peace, God. Oh, peace, God.
Peace.
Did that make sense?
Doesn't make perfect sense.
What you have to do is you have to memorize supreme mathematics. Did you get supreme mathematics?
No. I met one of the brothers, True Born Mahalak. He gave me the basic format system right down. But also, Darken just told me just to worry about finish the 3-day fast and call him tomorrow, and then.
Okay, so he's gonna give you the order of that next step.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
But you can still,
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah. I will do my best not to soil the path that they have led you on.
Yeah.
So you chose who you want to be taught by, or?
Who I want to be taught by? No, I want to be taught by Darken.
Okay, so let me explain that a little
Darken
bit.
Right.
This is also for Kim as well. When someone gets knowledge of self, right, they learn from many. Obviously, I learned from many, but knowledge me was my enlightener. He was the one that took me through the math and alphabets and 120 lessons to memorize and taught me directly. And I had to quote it in front of him and show an understanding. He did it right there, standing there. And then I got my universal flag. I teach anyone. However, if someone wants to learn this and they don't and say, I need to learn the whole thing and I need an enlightener, I am that person. If that is your choice, that would be your choice, Kim, not mine.
I chose you months ago.
Okay.
I just had to
But that
Yeah.
would be that person's choice, okay? In the nation, people call it educator, they call it enlightener. I use the word enlightener because knowledge me meant that much to me. So I try to use the most exalted word.
My hierarchy.
No. In this nation, when you learn, you have a lineage. There's no hierarchy because there's no man above you. You know what I mean? You just don't know everything. You're learning. But there's no hierarchy in this nation. There's no one above you. So me as an enlightener, I'm not on a pedestal. Okay? Right? Every endearment and respect that I receive is earned. And it will be earned, right? And I will have to earn it with you or anyone else. Okay? So that person, your enlightener or educator, whatever you decide to call them, is the one that takes you through that. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing you would get is supreme math and alphabet. For me, that means Ken, I would give you supreme math and alphabet, but I would tell you to just focus on the supreme math. Okay? You could cheat and look at the alphabet though, but you just work on memorizing the math. I also have plus lessons, teachings that I give out that I write in these lessons, the ones that I teach, the things that I just said, and they're written down as plus lessons. I will give you one about supreme math and to help you understand it more, but also to provoke questions. Because you will read it, I guarantee you, and say, what the hell is Sunez writing? Because I write very, very concentrated. Okay? I like to use big words, and I don't want people to memorize what I teach. I want you to develop your questions. So I deliberately write it that way. Okay? So if you do quote it, everybody will know that you're talking like Sunez. They'll all know. Right? It'll be okay though. It'll be okay. So to help you know some of the history of the supreme math, to know what they generally are, and to help you develop your questions, I care more about your questions than your explanations. People fly through math alphabet 120 because they memorize it and explain shit. Knowledge is to look, listen, and observe. Wisdom is why, God, I don't like that. I get bored with the rote material. You'll learn the rote material. I'm bad at teaching the rote material. Okay? My consistency is my orthodoxy. But everything else about me is unorthodox. Okay? I am not going to teach you the robotic way. You will learn the robotic way. Okay? Understanding is to get a clear mental picture. You're going to hear all that. I don't need to say that shit. That's boring. I want to hear what you have to say. I want you to put things into your own words. And if you can't put things into your own words, that's fine. But take the time to develop questions of your own. Okay? Where the course goes is where you take the course, because the course, you are on the course. You are walking this course. You see? And where it goes is where you walk the course. Right? So it's dependent upon you.
Please, God.
Peace.
Make sure you don't miss his class, God. This right here, you're going to learn from this brother right here.
Peace, God.
That's a young brother. He just came through Sunez.
That's peace,
Just
God.
the other day, man. I told him, come to your class, come to Dark Kim's class.
That's peace, God.
He's all right.
Peace, God. Darkin, True Born Myla, that was True Born Myla, myself. We all have lineage that goes back to Firstborn Prince. All of us. Firstborn Prince, for his last years of his life, actually lived here in school. And he was everything like he was a bitter old man. It's just like Karate Kid and shit. He knows everything, but he's a bitter old man. But I didn't have those experiences like that. He was really nice to me. You know what I mean? But he was mean to everybody else, though. So when they say the stories, I just get quiet. But he was mean to people in front of me.
Oh, so you can validate.
Yeah, that's what I could.
It was an experience.
I could confirm.
It just wasn't your experience.
Yeah, but it wasn't my experience, though. You know what I mean? But I learned what knowledge me, and knowledge me learned with him. And so that's what that was. That's what it is. Does anybody have any questions about anything? All right, let me see if there's any questions here. King, my brother King, Kamal. That's my Quincy Kamal. That's my Quincy Jones right there. Do we test it also through we born it through the math and alphabet as well as trying it against everyday life situations, circumstance? I don't know when you asked that, but I Clemente, peace. Divine, peace. We test everything in the outside world, in the reality of our lives. I have in the curriculum. That's why everybody should have my email. I give out things, right? And I give out my plus lessons that includes a curriculum for this class. Mainly, it's the main part of the curriculum is to have your own journal. So you have the spiraled open stuff you pull out. But I mean the composition book, the one you're not.
Why have
The one-
It's crazy. Everything is timely. I started a journal like Monday,
Then
and
it
it's
works.
a marble type.
It works.
It's pink. It's just I just picked it up. It was in my house and it was empty, and I was like, I'm gonna start today, not knowing this wasn't
Right.
a plan. Today specifically coming here was not a plan. It just allowed itself at the time was available.
That's
I
great.
spoke to months
Right,
ago,
right,
and I've
right.
wanted to get here, and I'm like, it's so
The reason
timely.
the journal in the curriculum, the journal is for you. The journal is to write about how you see today's math and test it out, questions about things, but it's mainly for your life, the things you think are important, the things you say you will do to have a better conversation with yourself, right? And they're also the main reason I started writing a journal. I'll give you the little background. I didn't write a journal because I wanted to write down my thoughts. I lived a poverty-stricken life, and I made it to college, and welfare was paying my college degree. I don't think I had a life, though, that was worth writing about. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was writing about hip-hop and stuff, I didn't know that was rare, right? I started writing a journal because I started to get consciousness. And in 1998, Dayson told me about this nation, and I spent a whole year preparing. Why? Because he told me that they bomb you when you get here. You gotta be right and exact. But he didn't really define what that meant. So I'm thinking they're gonna beat the shit out of me. So I gotta be sharp. So for a whole year, I'm reading every book I could find. I read everything. I was reading Diop, Sertima, not Sertima. I didn't find Sertima. I found Chancellor Williams, Destruction of Black Civilization, one of Juggernaut books. Elijah, I read one Elijah book. I didn't understand the shit. You know what I mean? It just sounded like religion to me. I didn't really get it.
Oh, that's a question I had since the beginning of this class. Sorry to go over because I kept on thinking.
Please.
Do you know anything?
Go.
No, you can talk. You talk.
No. I will not forget. Please.
Do you know anything about Sumerian gods?
Sumerian gods.
Does that
You mean the history?
the history of Sumerian gods? Because when you look at
Sumerian, like you mean Sumerian?
yes, Sumerian, because it's like a one of my uncles that I'm not really talking to anymore, but he told me that when you see pictures of Jesus Christ and all these other religious, figures, they always point their finger up to the sky for some reason. Why is that? Maybe it's to the Sumerian gods to some degree, but that also plays back to
that imagery. I can't explain it as far as like blanket fold.
Yeah.
I do have stuff that talks about Samaria, and there are literature about Sumerian civilizations that I could, put you on to. You know what I mean? Right? Okay.
What exactly do you want to know about the Sumerian god?
Who are they? Are they the original guys? Like, do they know what truth do they know?
Instead of looking at Sumerian gods, though, because you're looking at, be very careful, right? Be very careful that anything you read, though, is going to, don't marvel in DC everything you read. You know what I'm saying? The gods is right here, you. Those are just the people from back then. They may have been gods during their time. They're the same as you. Okay? When we say that the original man is God, if we're saying that we are the true and living God, then how does an infinite mind extend throughout that? Because the thought is passed down. You see? And every thought is passed down genetically, and we also have the way of adding on to it epigenetically. You see? So these ideas, when we look back at history, understanding history is very difficult to perspective.
Very good.
Because when we read history, any history, ancient history, you read before white folk. Right? That should be a thing, right? Before BWF, before white folk, right? That has no perspective in our mindset. Try to understand that we cannot picture a world like that. With the strife, the oppression, the confliction. These things are not something that we can understand. We have to put ourselves in a different mindset. And what usually happens when we read about ancient civilizations, we put ourselves and we make it a utopia. Ancient civilizations before white folk, meaning pre 6,000 years ago, right? It is not the utopia you think. There's many problems because when we said the white man is the devil, we said that they made a devil that was weak and wicked. That white man is not the invention of evil, okay? That discord and that separation between us manifested in breeding a man like that. But it was us that it came from. So it comes from us. That mentality, that drifting away, that comes from us.
So the original
Right?
man is God. So
we are dealing with that issue. Everything is to deal with an issue. Okay? Everything. Right? Now, back to the journal. See, I don't forget. When I was learning as much as I could in that 1 year, 98 to 99. 98, a very distracting year, because one of the greatest years in recorded hip hop, by the way. Right? Everything. Pun, Lauryn Hill, Kill Army, RZA. There's a whole bunch of shit, right? Incredible year. Gangstar, Aquemini. Anyway, I could go on and on. I'm studying all these books, and when I get to Destruction of Black Civilization, it's a seminal book for me in many ways. I'm in the library. Nobody reads this. This is a business school. They don't care about this book. And they didn't care. The binding is shot, everything. And I'm like, I'm going to take out other books I read. I would break off pages, keep it. I don't want to forget. This book had too much. And I said, if I take out the pages I really want, it's going to be like a pamphlet. I can't give them back a pamphlet. It's a book. You know what I'm saying? So I said, let me get a journal and I'll write down everything that was in there so I have it to reference. Because at the same time, I was going to spend money making photocopies and stuff like that. I'm not using. All my money was to buy music. That's it. That's all I used my money for when I was in college, to buy music. Clothes, music. More music. More music. I did everything. I bought, borrowed, stole, dubbed, took, listened to music. It was everything. That's how I collected. That's how I ended up this way. Right? So I said in the journal, maybe I write down everything that I was writing. So after a while, I did this with all the books. But then when I would write down what I wanted to remember, I started to have commentary. Now, they're my own ideas based on what I was writing from the book. And I would comment them. But I said, I'm going to comment on this author that I just wrote down what he wrote as if I was talking to him. So if it was checking the Diop, Iron Van Sertima, if it was a scholar, I'm going to speak to him as if I'm talking to a scholar. If it was another guy, I'd start regular. You know what I mean? But reading all these science and history books, I was writing in a way as if I was in the hall, debating them, discoursing with them. It developed my speech. It developed the way I would speak. And it gave me catch points, and I started to memorize what was in these books. Right? That's where the journals came from. And so in your journals, all of the things that you think you're learning, all the things that you're studying, whether you watch a movie or something like that, ideas, you get an idea from a movie, you have a weird thing, write down everything. Write down things that are important. Value your life. Value your life. It is the only thing that you're really creating here, is your life. You know what I mean? It's like how we value certain things, right? Basically, we value when you eat. I put so much emphasis on what you eat, though, because out of all the things that we value of things, it's the only thing that we put inside us and let it do things to us. Something to value. You know what I mean? Because my daughter, you heard her, she's really cute. I would love to eat her up. Now she's 10, so she's still a lot to eat, but she's cute. But I don't take her with me. I only take the idea of her with me. But this food you put inside of you. Right? So What do we value? Value your life. Write about your life as if you value it, as if it was worthwhile. Right? As if you did things that are memorable. Right? As if there's a path to something much more grand as you write. See? Because it will be. It will be as you write it. But you have to write it. You see? See the failures though. I am going to do this, and you look back, oh shit, man. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't do that. You know? It's a combination. You know? Out of those journals, those 200-page composition books, I've written 73 of them. There are 73 in my home. In a big box. Right? And there are at least 10 years accumulatively that I did not write in them. You know what I mean? Because as I became a writer, I wasn't a writer when I wrote. I wanted to be a writer. I didn't understand this. When I started to write journals and I'm writing in magazines, I'm the only one doing that. I wanted to be a writer, but I'm no writer. I go to places where they know Chicago manual style. They know how to edit and all that kind of stuff. I don't know shit. I don't know what that is. They know about music. They're sellouts that know about music. It's one of the most formidable enemies you'll ever face. Sellouts that know the material more than you. Very dangerous.
Well, who gave them?
I don't know. I don't know anything. Right? But when you encounter things, you encounter people that know about things, but don't care about it like that.
Perpetrators?
But see, look, what you have to understand is that a sellout is not somebody that is not worthwhile and just destroys culture and art and history and things like that. No, they're people that are very, very valid. People that are very talented. People that know a lot. And then they use it for their own gain after a while. Because they think they have the power to manipulate it now. You see? But here I was, though, trying to write about music. And I didn't hear all the albums. Like I know about Rakim. I know all the songs in Paid in Full. But I never heard Paid in Full from the actual album. I heard each song piece by piece because we lived it. Every song in Paid in Full was played in the street. So you knew what I'm saying. But I never held the album. I'm behind. This is where I'm at. When I start writing the journals, I'm at that point. I never heard the album. I don't have it. So I gotta catch up. I take a class. I'm thinking I'm gonna pass. Puerto Rican history. I got this. I'm Puerto Rican. I don't have to learn. I'm Puerto Rican. I come in late, thinking all that. Puerto Rican professor just darts me out. First class. I'm like, man, you're supposed to look out for me, man. Just fucking send me over here. You know what I mean? But by the end of that class, because he empowered me, became my mentor, I still know him to this day. I still build with him. You know what I mean? In fact, we have such a great relationship that he has gone throughout the entire world. He's a bishop. To show you how distinct. As religious as it comes, he became a bishop. But he's the one that engaged me to write about the 5% in hip hop as a student. In other words, he engaged me as a student to write about something that I wasn't sure about but wanted to know about. You see? First lessons in learning from him, right? And of course, orating. He's the first one to put me in front of classes to speak. So I was doing that before I came here. I have no idea how knowledge we figured that out, right? But this path was because I was writing things down. You ever have those moments where you say, man, I wish I would have said it like this, right? I very rarely have those moments though, because I spend so much time writing about the possibility of those moments. If someone says this about us not being this, I'm going to say this. If they say, right, you know how like all these goes, Puerto Ricans weren't there in the beginning and shit like that. Well, in my journal, there are many passages. If they say to me that we haven't done this, this is what I'm going to say.
Are you like prepared to always be?
Everything is prepared.
Stay in my head, create my reality, and then go outside.
Everything is prepared. It's a martial arts technique. Did Bruce Lee or the other legends of the 20th century in martial arts like Morihei Shiba, Did they fight every fighter that existed? That's impossible. It's impossible. How could they fight every fighter that's possible? But it felt like they could defeat anyone. And at best, defend their life. Because defeat someone, that's relative. But be alive in confrontation. The longer you do martial arts, though, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I'm alive at the end of it. I walked away from it. You know what I'm saying? How do they prepare? Is it possible? They bring new NBA players every day, more youth, more energy, more athleticism, right? How does a great player like Kobe or Jordan, how do they prepare for every single type of player? It's not just talent. It's because they prepare for any type of situation. Two players, one that trained a lot and one that seemed or was said to be lazy, both Hall of Famers, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson. When you read books about them, Kobe Bryant, he grew up in Italy. His father was a ball player, but he just played after the NBA. He played in the Italy league, so he grew up in Italy and other places. That's how he learned all the different languages he knows. And Kobe spent a lot of time by himself. He's a black kid in the country, and he would visualize who he was guarding. So he's playing by himself, but he's visualizing what he would do in situations. See? And he practiced it all day, physically practiced it. You know what I mean? He never stopped doing that kind of exercise. He just added player like, hey, you stand here, and I'm gonna pump fake 3 times and see if I can get the shot off even you're off the top of me. You ever notice Kobe do that in games? He did it all the time, right? He would practice those particular shots. The other side, Allen Iverson, right? They were faulting him. He's hip hop, he's ghetto, right? Thug, all that. Doesn't practice, right? Doesn't do anything, lazy. He, before the game, though, because he's an exceptional physical talent, he also said that he would visualize what he was going to do on the court. So he didn't do like Kobe. He didn't move. He sat there and thought about it. This dude does this. I'm going to do that. Do this. And if you ever saw him on the court, though, it was like there was no option that he couldn't do. He was like doing anything, right? Hopping from here, hopping from there, shooting, right? He's visualizing it. When you do the martial arts, though, you visualize the possibilities of confrontation. I visualize the person this tall, this tall, this tall, this big, this big, this big, this strong, this strong, this strong. You know what I mean? Very slow, very fast. You visualize everything. Well, when you write, though, you also visualize the things that you need to answer for. What's your righteous name, God?
Why Supreme Allah?
So an exercise in his would be, why you call yourself that? That's a crazy name. What you saying? What your mama called you? So then what would you say, right? Well, why Supreme, though? What makes you so supreme? That's so egotistical, that name. What would you say? What would you say to your parents? What would you say to another girl that you're talking to, or brothers on the street? What would you say? These are the things that you practice for. These are the things that you prepare for. See? Pretty soon, Justin, you do stuff like this. These exercises, they could be done mentally.
I want to do it.
Right? You could do them on paper or mentally. I used to always do an exercise. My father returned to the essence last month, right? But he was the toughest person to show and prove that I was God. Thank you, God. And even to the last days, he never understood this concept. He was very, very sick. He had stage 4 cancer, right? And so I said, I'll get you anything you want, even if it's the worst foods, whatever you want to eat. Because, he said, son, I'm sorry about your religion, things like that, but can you get me a bacon, egg, and cheese? And I said, you got to go with the New York sandwich? This is what you want. You know what I mean? But I went and got it for him, right? And he knew one thing, though. He knew, though, that I was teaching people. So he knew the best part of what I was doing, right? But I would have these scenarios, though. I would say, how can I show and prove that I'm God if he says this? Well, what would he say that would be countering me? And then what would I say? See? This exercise didn't come about because of this. I started to do this exercise writing editorials. People would write slanderous things to me in the college. Because in my columns, I read about hip hop and I would curse. I would do all types of things. Whatever I felt was artistically inclined. And people wrote things trying to ban me from the thing because I was writing curses and shit. This shit was crazy. I was writing shit, right? And I was developing my creative style, right? So I didn't care. But when I wrote these editorials, I wrote retorts. But I wanted to write a retort that could never be answered back. So I tried to get into the mind of the person and what they would say to what I would say. This is where the exercise comes from. See? This is where the quick retorts come from. See? The other secret weapon is reading a lot. The more you read, the
Because
more.
reading is fundamental. And one last question. Since you're a fan of hip hop, I'm a fan of hip hop too. Why? Because obviously you're older than me and stuff. But what is your thoughts on how and why the 5%ers started dying out in the hip hop industry? Because I did my own history. I was born in '98. Like, hip hop started in '85, right? So who you at?
Hip hop started in 85.
Is it
No, it's much earlier.
50 years old? So 50 years to go. So that's, correct me if I'm wrong. That's, no, 85 is not. No, you're right.
73, right?
73.
73 is around the mark. The reason I say that though is that culture develops though. Okay? They didn't say, hey, let's do hip hop, and all of a sudden somebody did breakdancing exactly as it was.
Hip-hop
You know what I mean?
was positive in the beginning, like 70s, 80s.
Yeah, let's rewind there again too, right? All of the violence, crime, everything that you see in the hood was there too back then. Okay? And everything that would happen at a party happened at a party. They were just doing something different. And it led to an accumulation of different styles of doing things. They accumulated. And we call it hip hop now.
I mean, it was,
Okay?
it was
Now, listen. Hip hop, today's hip hop is filled with godsends. Okay? All right? It's where you look for it though. Okay? It's where you look for it though. If you look for things on the radio and the commercial sector, we'd be in argument that are we even finding hip hop? Right? Just like if we look for jazz though, there's a lot of great jazz players, but you don't even hear about them. Right? Is jazz dead? Jazz is not dead. There's many, many great players, right? With new styles, new contributions, but you have to look for them. They're no longer in the commercial sphere.
Hip hop is not dead. Well, like, lyrical rap is not dead. It's underground.
Right.
Underground rap.
Is it underground or is it just where the culture is?
It's where the culture is right now.
Right. Here's why I say that though. I'm from there. And I write about what I consider the best, and I make music too. I don't consider myself under anyone. So I don't say I do underground and then they're up top. They're not above me in any kind of way. And I certainly don't give anyone the respect that they music that I could not touch or have the ability to do. I don't respect it. So how would that be? Right? So in that respect, music is different now. It's based on algorithms. So that actually simplifies things because the algorithm makes niches so distinct, each niche so distinct that it makes what is commercial has to be even more simple and more basic to reach out farther. You know what I mean? And so much so that it's not even music anymore of a quality or of a skill set that
When's
would
the
be called.
last time you heard the radio?
I don't even have a radio.
All right.
Like, because exactly.
Right. I haven't had a radio in like.
New York City don't listen to the radio no more. I haven't listened to Hot 97 in 20 years over the radio. Because when you have a car, when you in your car and you put your AUX, you just go straight to your playlist. You don't.
Right.
And then it's like.
Right.
And then listening to the same 4 or 5 songs within the 24 hours, that's pro.
Right. But people don't search deep for things. So the algorithm is the new radio. You see? Right? But Today, you can change your algorithm. You can keep looking for something deeper. You can keep researching for things. That goes along with everything. You know what I'm saying?
Is there still any libraries around?
Yes. I went there yesterday. All over the place.
The reason why I ask these questions, because even though I still sound nervous for saying it, I just said it anyway, because if you don't know, just ask, you know?
Yes and no. If there's a question, as I learn about people, if there's a question I think you should know, you'll have to answer it yourself.
All right. I like how the way you answer that.
Okay? I will tell you that. Okay? This is your first time here. This is the first time I meet you.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be a question I say you should know that. I don't know you. You know what I mean?
Rome wasn't-
Firstborn Prince, though, used to kick out people for knowing things that they should know. I remember I was waiting to start my class, and I thought I would have these 2 high school kids in there. But he talked to them, and he asked them what the area of a square is. Right? Multiply the 2 sides. Okay, just in case, because then I would have to kick you out in the name of Prince. So don't tell me you don't know. They didn't know. And then he said, where do you go to school? And they said the high school that they go to. And he was like, y'all should fucking know that. So you're not learning nothing from Sunez because you can't even learn from the school you at. Get the fuck out. And he kicked them out. You know what I mean? Now, that's not the way I would deal with things. You know what I'm saying? It's not exactly the way I would deal with this. But he's my elder. So I was like, I'm not going to tell him to come back, you know? I was like, you lose some. Yeah, you lose.
At 4 o'clock. He's not even leaving.
Yeah, you lose some. So, you know? But, yeah. All right, so my email, let me give you my email. My email is Sunez97, SUNEZ97@gmail.com. Okay? For anyone, and everybody knows, if I didn't email you back in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever you think is too long, you may forward it back on the top of the pile. I do not get mad at being pestered. Okay?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? SUSGE?
SUNEZ97 @gmail.com.
Oh, okay.
That's my name. Sunez Allah. Sunez Allah is from the supreme alphabet. I told you I was from Sunset Park. The God that brought me to the school. My day -1,000 is day sun. The sun. Sun was a big deal in the concept when we was dealing with this. The column I wrote for the school paper, I called it Sunset Stocks. I was from Sunset. So I was like, and he was like, yo, got the sun in the name, because, you know, we were duo, you know what I mean? I was like, the sun in the name. So I said, I'm thinking, I don't know any Puerto Ricans. I never heard of a Puerto Rican with the self, this, that. I'll make it so that they know. So I gave it that inflection, the Enya sound. Sunez, savior of the universe, now shows and proves the equality of zigzag zig. Zigzag zig is knowledge, wisdom, understanding. 1 + 2 + 3. Multiplied or added equals 6. Equality is 6. Equality of zigzag zig. Sun is Allah. That's my name. That's my name. For those that really know me, though, from the very beginning, it was Sunez born Allah. But after a while, I was like, I'm born. I am born. I'm complete here. I took off the board. That's the origins of my name. So he said, why does he have a weird name? That's why. There is not supposed to be any other Sunez in the universe. So if you find them,
You should call me.
yeah, there's somebody biting. But it's okay. It's okay, I'm the man. No, in other countries, there are certain, I've seen Sunez as a name, as a surname in some countries, in the Middle East and other places. But in this nation, no. But as we get knowledge, we develop a name for ourselves. That means what we intend to be, what we truly see ourselves as, and what we will project ourselves to be. You know? And that is developed at your own pace. You know what I mean? If you come up with a crazy name, which people have told me the craziest names that they will be, I will tell you that it is crazy. I will tell you that it's kind of crazy. But you know, like you expect people to call you that, but you know. And of course, though, the rumors are true, the cliches are true. Many of our brothers that are locked down, they have very, very long names, and they pick every wonderful attribute you could put in one long name, you know. But I'm not so mean with them, you know. Not so mean with them. But if I meet them when they get out, though, they have to shorten that shit a little bit. I can't remember the whole thing, but
The nickname on the new name.
yeah.
The thing I'll say when it comes to names, like, it should just be simple. You know what I'm saying? Because name is something you live out. You know what I'm saying? So, like, one thing I say to myself, because I used to have, my name is Wise, you feel me? So I used to have the Z in my name, so W-I-Z-E. You know what I'm saying? But I took the Z out and I put the S because I wanted to make my name more simple.
Somebody here said, thank you, Divine. Somebody said that my discipline is impeccable. It is not impeccable. I need it to be ordinary. I don't want it to be extraordinary. I want it to be ordinary. That this is what we all do.
This is the standard.
But I will tell you this. When you're disciplined with something, when it reaps the benefit, it is no longer impeccable. Now when I am this disciplined, there's so much benefit that I get because I did this whole process very aware. But Thich Nhat Hanh, right, does not spell like I just said. Thich Nhat Hanh, one of the great Buddhist philosophers, still alive, writes great books. I can give you a whole bunch of them, right? And Thich Nhat Hanh's main thing, like what he teaches, is mindfulness. And I love to do that every now and then. Like when white people say mindfulness, they're getting it from him. It's from him. So it gets corny, but I got to the root of it. It's not corny because it's his. It's damn it. But so when they would eat food, they would be there, you know, like they would be there. They're not paying attention to other things, and feel what they're eating and truly appreciate it. Feel how it feels as it goes in the body. When they walk, right? How do the shoes feel? How do they feel? How do you feel? You know? And it's a very martial concept too. That's why I like the Buddhism and Taoism is very linked to martial arts because the breath techniques come from the Buddhists that came, because it comes from India, Buddhism, right? And so does the internal breath work.
Awesome. Now, would y'all have some water? Anybody want some water?
Yes. Okay.
Right? This kind of the breath work, all that kind of stuff. In the Chinese Kung Fu, they say you breathe from your head to your toe. So in other words, the energy that you are accumulating from the breath, you're not in the Qigong, the Chinese way, you're not taking energy from the breath. The breath is being used to conduct your energy. Whereas, no, I'm good, God, I'm good. Whereas like the yogis of India, right? They do what they call prana, right? And prana, though, and the way they deal with breath is that the energy is in the breath. You know what I mean? But in its own way, though, the energy is conducted. So when you breathe from head to toe, it means that you're feeling everything. You're feeling the way everything goes. And that breath, that energy, you are dispensing it yourself. It is you who are dispensing it. You see? It's a powerful concept, right? Very powerful concept.
Have you ever tried that?
Say again?
Have you ever tried that?
I do it all the time.
I tried it one time, and
The breath work of Qi Kung, though, is to draw up your energy. A lot of times, like when you see the lotus position, right? Lotus position is not just legs folded, but that second leg goes over. Not just like that, but it goes over. So it's like the crunch, right? And it says stuck, right? You have to pull it out to get out. That's a lotus position. A lot of these positions like that are basically to lock up the Qi, you know, to keep it from going into the legs. Of course, when you're starting out, you get nothing. You get numb legs, and yeah, I have no legs left, and they're dead. So like, right? But the whole idea is you're trying to circulate the chi. If you could make the chi go back to one place, then you could find it and then circulate it. You know what I mean? And that's what all the stuff is. The way you put your hands and all that kind of stuff is the way you're positioning your body. You know? But
myself, I'm not able to sit like.
Oh, yeah,
I have
no.
a problem, but
if you ever want to meditate, I'll show you meditation that's very simple, the basic of meditation, the essence of it, right? But what I'm saying about the mindfulness, which is also important to meditation, is this idea of mindfulness was just the simplicity of being extra aware and knowledge of self. We could say this degree says this, knowledge is this, mathematics this, but in essence, knowledge of self is knowing who you are and knowing exactly who you are at that moment and deciphering what might be, what you believe to be, to what actually is. You see? And what actually is, if it is not good or is good to you, the ability to change it. Mindfulness begins also with meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be in a lotus position. You don't have to hit a gong and go, you don't have to do all that, right? All of that is timeless stuff. The beads here, right? Many of the Buddhist sects, they count their prayers. That's what this is for. Just like Muslims do too. I got these beads because my Seagun was a Buddhist, right? He's a Buddhist, but he did not tell us to get the beads for that. These beads are for weapon, so they hurt. And that's the only reason I wear them. And they look nice, but they're really for weapon. You know what I mean? So they have nothing to do with me counting
So when you
any
see them
prayers.
wear
The thick beads is because there's like 128. So that's the prayer. They're prayer beads. You know what I mean?
Because when you see like the old video game Street Fighter, Akuma.
Please God. Right. Let's rewind for a minute though. Please be aware that all imagery you see in a cartoon or video game is not necessarily a legit representation.
Yeah, I know. I just give certain references because early this morning I was making a video. That's why. So.
Okay. Right. The bigger beads though are with the respect that they have, the adulation, right? That's all that means. You know what I mean? But if you notice the big beads, it's hard to punch somebody when they got the big beads on. So we used to all wear them for certain reasons though. And there are many if you see old videos, I'm wearing them too. You know? Oh, close that for me, God. Thank you, God. Yeah. But anyway, they're all for a purpose, you know. But when you meditate though, meditation is basically letting things go. Now, the mind can't let things go, so you have to practice to let things go, right? So what do? You force yourself to think of something else, or you just let the thoughts go? In other words, meditation is just letting the thoughts be there. You don't try to erase them. You can't erase them. You just let them be. And so all you have to do is put your feet flat in the ground like this, sit straight, have your back in a good breathing position, and put your hands here. That's what I have to do.
For himself,
Yeah.
I did mine like that the first time, and then the second time, just laying down.
Yeah, and add on too, if you're sitting position, put the tongue in and touch the top of the roof of your mouth. And the qigong that connects the circuitry, right? So that's it. It doesn't have to be in a lotus position or anything like that. But feel free to pretzel yourself up. It's fun. Right? Now, with that said, I'm usually done a long time earlier. You know, I don't know.
I really like this class, man. I like this build. When is your next class review? Tomorrow?
Really powerful. Oh shit. I'm here every Thursday. Powerful. I did not know that. The God here is telling me that Thich Nhat Hanh passed away. I didn't know that.
I used to meditate a lot in the course position.
Is it THICH?
THICH.
I've seen
Bring your arms
Yeah,
up, bring your back.
And he did pass away last year. I didn't know that. Oh, that's too bad. A lot of great books, a lot of great teachings. He explains things so well. So it's There's one of his books, The Heart Sutra. I read that every year.
And then taking the flamethrower and burning it to like
now, especially for you, Kim. I said a lot of stuff that I would be repeating. So don't worry about like, I don't remember shit. Like, But when you email me, then I will send you some stuff and show you
So
us.
for me right now, what I'm worried about, focus on my numbers. You know what I mean?
Okay, that is
No, I'm asking. I'm for
Yeah,
information.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so that's my homework.
you try to memorize the supreme math, questions about it, what you think about it, what confuses you. Do you think they should be in this order? Whatever it is.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Whatever questions you have. You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
Why should it be like this? You know what I mean? Right? I see many people get frustrated when they're a teacher, but they ask them, well, why should this be first? Just, that's the way it is. Like, that's the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing here.
So, Lord, man, do you have time? If I can set up my laptop, just to transfer one USB to the other USB, should I set it up? If you got time?
Let's do it.
Aside from that, we're done.
Unless you have any more questions, yeah.
I don't know.
This is certainly a lot for the first time of the year, so And again, you learn at your own pace, though. Whatever you decide that pace to be, that's what it is. And you can email me and contact me anytime.
Will do. Thank you.
Peace. The queen. Go home safe.
One thing I will say was that I asked you today in mathematics how you were seeing it. And I didn't know how I was seeing it. Like, I was seeing it basically as manifestation. I'm saying this, make my ideas tangible.
It was nice to meet you. Stan.
Enjoy your week here. I
Peace,
can't be
peace,
here.
peace. Nice to meet you.
How you say your name?
Peace, Justin.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Justice,
Justice, okay, Justice. There we go.
Son, that's it.
A fair
Do you have any books, or?
email me. Everything that I give out, it will be through email. Alright. Peace, God.
Yeah, I have my too. If I'm not physically here, I'll be
I'm
online.
gonna try to meet you on Saturday for 1 o'clock.
Once, okay, yeah, after you say, I'll come back tomorrow
It's
again.
different when I'm
Alright, but-
lessons. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna let everybody go here as well. Peace to everyone here. Peace to God Powerful for shattering my vision here. I'm saddened by that, but I will be back here Thursday. Again, if I log on, it's usually later. It's only because I start the class with individuals here. I like to give them some special time, and then I go to everybody here. Can't be funny though. Praise God. All right, peace to everyone.